Welcome back to another episode of Between Two Clouds. I'm Danny Hunt. Our guest today is Chris Mospan. Chris is a fellow technology advisor here at Opex Technologies. Chris, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Danny. Excited to be here with a local celebrity and chop it up with you today.
Oh, that's great. So people tell me that I probably drink a little too much coffee, but I'm pretty sure you've lapped me a couple of times at the coffee machine in the office.
Yeah, I like to stay stimulated. I'm not talking about that Colombian crap either. I'm talking Folgers crystals, Danny. It's roasted and processed in New Orleans, since 1960.
Yeah, Folgers crystals. That's a special brew right there. That is a special brew.
Nothing but the good stuff.
So what brought you here to Opex?
Well, let me start with the interview process. I sat down at a local Raleigh gem called Winston's Grill, who has a great meatloaf special on Tuesdays.
Yep.
With our founder and CEO, Courtney Humphrey, and his brother Reed, who is a successful small business consultant. We carried on a conversation between those scrumptious bites of meatloaf for the better part of an hour. And Reed led the majority of the questioning. And towards the end, Reed's like, "Hey, did you know you'd be working for Courtney?" I stood up, threw cash on the table, and said, "I don't mind springing for lunch, guys, but there's no way I'm working for this guy." They both looked at me in shock. And I said, "I'm just kidding." I realized I'd be working for Courtney, and I'd be grateful for that opportunity. And we all had a good laugh, and the rest is history. Here 17 years later. But yeah, not why Opex, and why I've kind of chosen to spend my career as an advisor. Opex, it's the people. Luckily you're just far enough away from corporate where I don't have to see you in the office, but the rest of the people are great. For the opportunity for continued education by being surrounded by the best talent in our space and not dreading spending time with those same people. That's your life. So it's very important to like the people around you. And I learned early on in my career too, that I didn't really want to sell to people. I was more passionate about solving problems for them and just about technology and evolving my knowledge around that. And as an advisor with access to hundreds of providers and as a service space, I'm able to design solutions and provide guidance, that ensure the best possible outcomes for our clients.
Chris, I think if anybody else would have told me that story about the interview process, I don't think I would have believed him. But from you, I 100% believe that that's actually what went down. So not out of character for you at all. Network aggregation, managed network services, big space for us. And I think you probably more than the rest of us spend a lot of time here. I think we kind of look at you as the SME from that perspective. Tell us a little bit about why.
Yeah, well, thank you for that, and I do, and when you see a project that consistently yields positive results, you must shine that light for others, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. So let's talk a little bit about what that solution is. What does it entail?
Yeah, I think what I love most about it is that any organization can benefit immediately, regardless of where they're at in their telco contracts, and they can scale their way to the promised lands as those contracts, sunset. And when I go about this project, general phasing kind of looks like this. You do the inventory. You gather the circuit inventory, the LAN infrastructure inventory, APs, switches, firewalls, etc. You migrate anything out of contract from a circuit perspective over to that aggregator. LOA anything under contract to the aggregator to consolidate management and phase out those circuits over timing, and that's a minimal cost for that. Layer on proactive monitoring and ticketing for all the circuits, and add in LAN infrastructure management. And then as you kind of keep going, any new locations, you fulfill those new hardware requirements through new provider, as well as any new circuit requirements through that new provider, and you refresh any end-of-life hardware that comes up, while leveraging that LAN infrastructure management right out of the gate.
Yeah, that's we've seen a lot of this here recently, and I think the operational benefits are huge. But let's talk a little bit about cost, right? What is the impact to the folks that you're working with?
Yeah, I mean, there's a tremendous soft operational cost savings, right? But I generally see somewhere between 15 to maybe 40% on the circuit side. Just on top of other benefits, beyond operational, beyond circuit savings, such as ensuring corporate-wide policies are upheld and centrally visible through one portal. On that land structure side, from a cost perspective, I usually see 3x or 4x savings.
Yeah, that's such a powerful proposition when you can improve the operational side of the business, and then at the same time reduce costs, especially in this climate. So it's big, and I get why you have such a focus and a lot of success in it. Well,
Yeah,
Chris, man, I've been looking forward to having you on for a while. Appreciate you sharing some time with me. It was good chatting with you.
absolutely. You too, Danny. Thanks for having me.